Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to re-record this. All right, let me give you guys that link one more time. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? One sec. Where did I put it? I posted in the chat earlier. All right. This in the chat, I would have just posted the link to a playlist from last year of some of the classes. So classes you haven't done yet. All that information is going to be there. It's already on YouTube. But the whole point of me recording was so I could post them up on YouTube so you have access to them, right? To make reviewing and revisiting a whole lot easier. So I would double check to see if this is up there already. If not, I'm gonna have to record that outside of you guys. All right, where were we? Okay. All right. So now this is the context of, let's say, wayfinding, right? Could be mentioned being in the supermarket, banks, airports, all of that. So here we just have some other examples. Finding the bathroom for women, men, studio. If you go to a zoo, you'll see this in airports and banks as well. You have signage that tells you where to go. For the context of signage, these things tend to be simple and straight to the point, right? Rather than having a picture from the side of an elephant, they went for the front to get the most recognizable version of the animal. So when they're directing you, they should be easy to find, right? Right? More signage, generally simple. You have what the place is, you have an icon represent walking, you have a distance, time. So they're saying from this spot, it's about 6 minutes in this direction. It's about 2 minutes in that direction, 4 minutes this way, 3 minutes that way. Right? Those things are going to be super, super helpful. All right. This one is clever use of signage and the way to use the words. Men to the left because women are always right. Yeah. So here, the hierarchy would be men. You can see anytime they have the sex under direction, that is big, that's in all caps, and it's right above the arrow. So men that way, women that way. But instead of just having men, women, which everyone has, they made it into a fun sentence for you. So on your way to the bathroom, you can have a little chuckle. Men to the left because women are always right. And now, lastly, this is a side of things that you wouldn't it would take a while before you experience it, but there's a reason why you you notice it from all the times that you've used Google. All right. So SEO benefits. SEO, that stands for search engine optimization. So in our digital age, even search engines pay attention to headings, right? They help with the SEO. I want you to think of headings as keywords that tell search engines what your content is all about. So, proper headings can significantly boost your content's visibility. So, let's make this make sense. Let's imagine your website is like a book. All right. Let's imagine your website is a book. Book is Atomic Habits. You have your website, and remember I mentioned a little earlier when you're selecting headings in like Word, right? It's going to be H1, H2, H3. Because the headlines tend to be the most important parts or the things that you want to stand out the most, if you have a website, and this is Welcome to Atomic Habits, you might choose H1 for that, right? Welcome to Atomic Habits. This may be somewhere on the page, or this might come up a lot somewhere in the website. Tiny changes, remarkable results. So if this is H1, this might be H2. And then this right here, that might be H3. An easy and proven way to build good habits and break old ones. Now, if those three things was the only thing on your website, anyone looking for, let's say you went to Google, how can I make new habits and break old ones? If that is what you were looking for, this Google is going to search the internet for any references of building good habits, breaking old habits. Let's say that phrase shows up on your website 100 times. Your website would then be the number one result for this. So going back to our presentation, problem. I have bad habits. I want to get good habits. How can I do that? So I went over to Google and I started searching. You work with your client and a web developer on putting their website together. And this is what you told the web developer, like, look, I need you to make sure the website is X, Y, and Z in terms of a look perspective, right? You're using some of those design principles that we mentioned, right? You want a website to be contrasty, you want it to have this type of mood, and you're reaching this whatever audience. But then, because of your awareness of hierarchy, you're able to say these three things. We need to make sure these are on. If the website has 10 pages, these need to be on at least 5 of those pages. Somewhere or somehow, we need to have different sentences that mention build good habits, break bad ones, right? So one sentence could have that. It might be something else. And when you search it, when a random person searches it, they come across your website, right? All because you were using those headings. Now, in the event that you didn't, let's say you did not use those headlines, the information is still on your website, but the search engine that prioritizes H1, H2, H3 is not going to pick up your client's website as quickly. Oh, phenomenal. Phenomenal. You should this is a great book. He has a newsletter as well. So if you have the newsletter, shout outs to you. Where was I? Oh, right. So yeah, that is the simple version of it. I don't want to like crush you guys with too much detail on that. But your website is able to select these specific things on there. All right. So your body copy, there's a thing for that. Same way you have H1, H2, H3 for headings, there's something for body copy as well. So it's gonna go headings first and then come on down. Yeah. So that's gonna help with that. So that's like a practical way that comes in. It's not as the headings are not as immediately useful in real life as it is on the internet, right? So even by your limited understanding of what we're doing here, you can still be ahead of the game. All right. So again, you don't have to use that as something that you put in your game plan, but let's say because of your client's goals, building a website is part of it. You could mention in your game plan, just because we mentioned it today, that we optimize the website for SEO by highlighting X, Y, and Z using headline tags, right? Something like that tells me one, I was paying attention in class. Two, based on what my client wants to achieve, I'm putting things in place to make sure that they get that assistance from me, right? Because attention is the whole game right now. For 2024, we're in a space where attention is literally a career, right? Everyone on YouTube, from that kid who is the richest person on YouTube, probably right next to Mr. Beast. All he does is open toys. Attention. If you can command attention, people would actually pay you to be like part of that. But let's get back into it. We are coming up on you're actually on the end here. All right. So why does SEO matter? Right. In today's digital world, content isn't just for human eyes, right? Since these search engines also scan it, the hierarchy of headings can boost your content search engine optimization, making it more discoverable, right? Because the worst thing to have a website where no one can find you, right? And the SEO is going to help with that. Even your photos on your website, right? If you go ahead and you label them, have you guys ever went on a website and some of the pages, some of the images don't load, right? If they don't load, sometimes you might see text in place of where the words were, text that describes what the image is. So again, if you have a book called Atomic Habits and you have some photos on there, if you describe the words, that's also going to be picked up by the search engine, right? So it has pictures of, let's see what we got here. Anyway, there's a chapter here we talks about exercise, right? And if you were not exercising before, you want to start exercising. One of the first things you want to do is make it as simple as possible to take the first step, right? It's going to be very difficult for you not to work out if you put on your clothes. So you wake up and your clothes are already set out. You don't got to look for them. Your clothes are right next to you. You wake up, clothes are right there. Shoes are right there. First step of going on a run is making sure you put on your shoes, right? And if you're able to, let's say there's a photo, you have a photo on your website of someone putting on shoes, then you can label it new habit, exercise as new habit, first step, put on shoes, right? You can label the image that. So that let's say I'm searching for how can I develop new habits. One of those things that might pop up might be that line, right? Which is a photo, but the photo is on a page that has more information, right? So that's where that practicality comes in. All right. So before we go on our second break, right? I know it's a whole lot of me talking, but what stood out to you guys about this particular section, the hierarchy of headings?
The importance of headings and understanding how they know the word, but you say searchability
Right.
of your content and making sure you have optimized.
All right, perfect. That's good. That's good. Anyone else?
What stood out for me is that hierarchy of headings can make things very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Should make things very attractive for people. For example, if you're having a book, it needs to be appealing, it needs to be attractive to catch my eye, to get me interested in reading what this book is about. So I like it. I really like that.
All right, perfect. Anyone else has anything to add? You're gonna fall down.
I think it was very interesting seeing the hierarchy of headings being used, like the
Right,
different ways it can be used. Like the one I liked most was the changing color.
right.
It guides the reader to read the important parts.
Mm-hmm.
But if you find this stuff interesting, maybe you should read the entire thing to find out more.
Sure. Love it.
Yes.
All of those are great. Book covers are always a great way to see this stuff in action. So this is another book here. With this one, we have there are no O's, but he replaced the O's with boxing gloves. So jab, jab, right hook. Yeah. And if you've been on Instagram, you would have seen all of these influencers out there talking about if you want to stand out, you need to have the right hook. So it's also a play on words. So it's boxing, but then it's also the right hook. The hook being that thing that you're saying that grabs the attention. Right. And you guys experience it. You be on Instagram or whatever, you're scrolling, and then there's certain things that you stop at for some reason. It's either a visual hook or it's a audio hook, or it could be text. Yeah. But with this, a lot of things kind of feel like they're the same size. But the title of the book is red, right? Title of the book is red. Everything else is really black. We have tall and skinny fonts, and then we have wide and bold fonts. So it's the balance there that this person is using. Even though it takes up the entire thing, there's still a balance there. This still a bit different. Atomic Habits is literally the biggest thing. It's in the middle, just like jab, jab, right hook. But this one is all caps. This one has sentence case, right? So those are all different choices that you could make when you're making your decisions, right? And you're going to notice them as you become aware. You're going to start to notice things that you probably didn't notice. You might look at a cereal box completely different, because again, it's all about the purpose, the intent. This thing is going to be on a shelf, right? Because it's on a shelf, other things could be in front of it. Where's the name of the cereal? Usually at the top, right? If you're looking at magazines, the name of the magazine is usually somewhere at the top. Why? If it's a magazine rack, they're going to have this kind of step to them. So if my name of my magazine is in the middle of the front, it's going to be hard for me to see if another magazine is in front of it. But you might find GQ is close to the top. You will find Esquire is close to the top. Vogue, everything is close to the top, right? Really for that reason. But anywho, with that said, back in 10 minutes. See you guys at 7:05. We will be in our last lap. So see you soon.